To beat the champ, you have to knock out the champ, or at least win in such a decisive way that everyone can see you deserve the championship. You deserve to win the belt. So in my opinion, the fight is a draw. All right, everybody, we are talking about Pereira versus Ankalaev, but more particularly, we're talking about this opinion that to beat a champion, you have to knock them out, or you have to beat them so decisively. And as a pro fighter who has fought for a lot of championship belts, I have a very, very steadfast opinion on this, which I want to touch on. And I think many people would agree with me, but we shall see. Now, I want to let you guys know today is the last day to get registered for my course, which starts tomorrow, Strike Ready Takedown. Last opportunity to join and get access to all the videos, the live calls, one of which is this Thursday, where you're going to be able to bring your questions. This is a course you do not want to miss. There's a link down below. Get yourself registered, and I look forward to seeing you there. We're going to learn how to dominate with sweeps and throws and how to stay on your feet if somebody at your gym keeps tossing you. Now, I've been a little bit, well, not a little bit sick, very sick, probably to the point where I lost 10 pounds in one day. But last night I rallied up some energy and watched the Ankalaev Pereira fight. And as we were watching, I was trying to score in my head, and I went, okay, round 1 for Pereira. Round 2, 3, 4 I had for Ankalaev, and round number 5 was close. It's like, it could have gone either way, and the judges did score that one. 2 for Pereira and 1 for Ankalaev. So at least according to the judges, I was pretty on point. But this guy here was saying that Ankalaev did not do enough to beat the champion because it was not decisive. Said at the end of his statement that all Ankalaev's takedowns, all of Pereira's takedown defenses were successful and the attempts of Ankalaev failed. So in my opinion, a draw. Now, I fought for that belt over there, won it, went to defend it, lost to Sergey Adamchuk, who I ended up defeating in the rematch. But it was a very close fight, and many people said to me that was such a close fight, you shouldn't have lost. And the first thing I right away said, I'm like, yeah, I lost that fight. Like, the ref should have deducted points because he was doing all sorts of illegal stuff, but that's a different subject. Is the judge doing his job? Is he taking points off when he should? If he doesn't, the refs, it's out of their hands and they just score. And I went, yeah, you know what? I lost 3 rounds out of the 2. Without that extra point taken off, making it a draw, I lost. And I was very clear about that because you know when you're in there, if you win or lose, most of the time, unless you're naive. You know the rounds you win, you know the rounds you lost. And going in as the champion, I went, do I want to retain this belt in a very close fight just because it was close, but I knew I actually wasn't the better fighter? No, I didn't want that. That's not the type of fighter I am. Now, I understand the mindset behind, a champion has to have the benefit of the doubt, because many people are going, well, they work so hard to get there, and if they won in such a dominant fashion, especially somebody like Pereira, who came in and has just beaten down so many people, fans are going, we want him to stay in place because he's shown such dominance, and to displace him, you have to really displace him. But that's not the way fight sports work. Right? Just because Pereira dominated all these opponents prior to Ankalaev does not even mean that Ankalaev will go in and dominate all those opponents in the same fashion if Ankalaev and Pereira's skill levels are very close, which apparently they are after that fight. Pereira can go and dominate them all, and Ankalaev could have trouble with some of them. Styles make fights. And giving somebody the benefit of the doubt going into a fight where they have an advantage just seems so unfair, because it's judging based off what they've done in the past as opposed to who is better this night. And let's be real, when 2 fighters step into a ring, it is only who is better that night. It does not matter who would be better 9 out of 10 times if they were to fight those 10 times. It's the 1 out of 10 times, the time that is happening right now. And you cannot give a champion this, oh, okay, you know what? We're going to give them a little bit of extra on the scorecards just because they did something in the past. And my best and biggest way to justify this, if you're still not agreeing with me, is look at fighters throughout the years that have had assistance from the judges. How many fights have you watched where you went, oh, that fight was so close, probably should have gone to this other person, but this very, very famous fighter, well-known fighter, squeaks it out? Well, that's all based off, whether they're the champion or not, it's all based off who they are. And I can think of a number of fights. I can think of Pacquiao versus Marquez. I can think of Canelo fights. I can think of MMA fights and kickboxing fights, many in Japan, where you're just like, wait, how did that guy take that decision? And when you watch those, do you think that is justified because the person is the champion or they have a bigger name? No, I get frustrated every time I see that. I feel so bad for the person who won, even if it's just by a little bit, but you know they won. So, in my opinion, even if you squeak out a very close victory, and I don't even feel like that fight last night was that close, because I look a lot of times, once we get past the first point, they were like, okay, yeah, Ankalaev took 3 to 2 rounds, or even possibly 4 to 1. But when you look beyond that, and you look, who won the overall fight? And that's something that ONE FC does in their MMA now. They don't score based off, okay, one guy won 2 rounds and the other guy won 1 round. Because if this guy dominates this round so much, this guy squeaks out 2 rounds, overall, this guy probably did more in the fight. So they look at the whole fight. And when I look at the whole fight last night, I go, how much damage did Pereira put on Ankalaev? Not enough. Where I went, yeah, he deserves to retain the belt. How many times did Ankalaev hurt Pereira? Well, again, not many, but he had him hurt. And if you look at damage and you look at control, Ankalaev is clearly the winner. Clearly. And that's going not off our actual scorecards the way we utilize them today. So, in my opinion, a good win for Ankalaev. There's a good argument for an immediate rematch, of course, but very justified win. Very, very clear cut that he should become the champion. But let me know, guys, what do you think? Do you think that there's any argument for Pereira getting a draw out of that? Or do you think he actually won the fight? Always interested to hear what you guys think, because as I've said many times on the channel, I have my opinions, and sometimes my opinions are even wrong, and I've had to go back and correct them. But, you know, you watch the fight, you have your opinion, and that's what mine is.